Good evening. Hello, hello, hello. Right, let's see. Auyama, moin, wie geht's? And TV Rebenjo coming in with a 74 months resub. Rebenjo, thank you very much. Big round of applause for you. That's a long time, TV. Thank you so much for that. Hope you're doing well. Ghost, hello there. Nate, hello. Greetings to the US. And Henry, hello. And Lido, hello to you as well. Avenger, good evening. Wie geht's? And we have Organ, hey, good evening. Yeah, oh yeah, all right. Well, the weather is better today, Organ. Better than we flew here. Josh, hello to you as well. Good evening. And Roy, hello to you as well. Right, apologies. I just need to do one more thing here before we get going. Is it just me, or do you guys also have problems with these setups? Because, I mean, we did fly the FSLabs, didn't we? So I'm not sure why my control setup is gone again. Like, I have no idea what's going on there. Are you sure it's a different livery? Bits, you're drinking espresso tonic. I've got to try that one day. I honestly, I just cannot. I cannot well, imagine what that tastes like, if I'm completely honest. Voyager, moin, wie geht's dir? How's the temperatures, Voyager? It is heating up, isn't it? It is getting warm. And one thing though, why isn't that... That's interesting. So the Moser base, it is registering here. But why isn't this stick moving? Ah, now it's moving. Okay, there we go. Okay, so different livery is actually different aircraft. Okay. Yeah, guys, I'll talk about maybe why that's the case. But I think I have it pretty much everything set now. No, not yet. Controller, you see. So the controller preset. So sweet bitter espresso with cool. Yeah, but heck, I just can't. I don't know. I have no. I just have no imagination what that potentially could taste like, to be completely honest. Yeah, Voyager, and it's going to get hotter, isn't it? Yeah, today I went cycling as well, so cycling at 25 degrees, but here we've got a little bit of wind, which is always nice. But Tuesday, Wednesday, it's going to get 33 degrees or something. And that's for us northern Germany citizens, that is hot. So where we're flying today, we are flying. So it's been a while, and I will tell you a bit more about that in a second. So we were flying the FSLabs in Microsoft 2020 when it came out, and I started doing a European tour, so toured Europe, and we did about 12 flights on that. And I think we started somewhere near Bergen or something, or. So we've been up to Norway, I think. They went to Iceland, and then at some point went from Iceland here to Vagar, and so now we are flying Vagar to Glasgow, and then we're going to fly from Glasgow to Brussels. Now the reason why. No, we were in Nuuk. I'll show that, Ghost. I'll show you that in a minute. We were in Nuuk. You are correct. But we flew somewhere else. So, guys, just to make sure, all right, we are in Microsoft 2024, and we are using the 321 Neo. Now, the cool thing is, I tried something today and it actually worked, meaning I transported the TechLog file from the 321 Sharklet version, CFM Sharklet version, over to the FSLabs 321 Neo here in 2024. And now we actually have that status from our previous aircraft that we're using on the Tour de Europe. So for example, if I go to flight history, right? You can see the previous flights. Oh, we started in Athens. So it's Athens, Larnaca. That was the release stream. Then we had Warszawa, Vilnius, Vilnius, Helsinki, Helsinki, Gothenburg. Yeah, that was Gothenburg to Bergen. That one was missing for some reason. Bergen to Tromsø. There was another one missing. Yeah, then we went from Svalbard, I think it's called, to Keflavik. And then we went from Keflavik to Sonderström. That was the flight. And we diverted, didn't we? Yeah, we diverted. That was the flight that we supposed to go on. We diverted. Yeah, there's some flights missing. I'm not sure why I didn't record these other flights, but you get what I mean. And this was the history of the previous technical issues we had. So there's a number of issues that we dispatched with according to MEL, but also then at some point we had it repaired. So one thing I wanted to check really quickly to see if the brake discs usage. So I can see the brake pins there. Yeah, okay, so we're going to have to monitor those, right? Because these are actually, the more you fly the aircraft, the more these pins go down. And also, I'm not sure, are supposed to be the tires also degrading the more landings you have? Yeah, Nate, exactly. That was a couple of missions we had with some bad weather. Yeah, I remember those. Yeah. Right. So what we're going to do, we'll start the outset check in a minute. Let me just quickly have a look at the tech logbook now. So right now we have no level 1 defects, only level 2 defects. So lavatory A power socket in-up and expires in 89 days. Nothing bad. And then LAV paint toilet lid. Toilet lid needs paint. Paint is ordered, lol. Those things always crack me up. I mean, like in the real aircraft, when you think like, sure, they've got some paint or they got some screws or something, right? But how often I'm reading that, yeah, parts is ordered and, right? So, yeah, very random MELs, yeah. Okay, that's the first thing I want to say. Now, guys, I do apologize again for the hiccups of the last 2 streams regarding my my stream OBS software. I may have found the culprit. I installed a new driver, a new graphics driver at some point, right? And then it looks like the hardware acceleration in the graphics setting was actually then activated again, just like the HDR was suddenly activated. I didn't do that on purpose, right? But it was just activated. Now, I did find out that with the hardware acceleration, it does crash OBS apparently. So you can see now I'm moving about with the different scenes, okay? So that was always crashing the OBS on the other stream. So keeping fingers crossed that issue is solved. Hey Holger, you're at the FS Expo. Nice. I did see some good pictures from Ted Barker, who sent me some nice pictures. And then, yeah, I saw a couple of videos for some announcements and especially hardware-wise. Oh, hang on. Why is my thrust levers? That's weird. So yeah, exciting times, right? Winwing are getting more and more parts out, and one part I'm particularly interested in is the audio control panel and the radio control panel, or radio management panel as it's called. So why is that not working here? So let me just check. So we've got this is one of the most annoying things ever. There we go. Okay, hopefully that's probably... working now. Hey, Mavi, how are you doing? Nice to see you. Right, so check the tech logbook. Looks good. With the wipers off, we have gear lever down, flap lever, spoiler lever, all good. Start switch is a norm. We have the engine start levers and cutoff. And then let's get power on. Yeah, so again, the idea about this Tour de Europe is to see how the FSLabs behaves with this technical logbook and with the normal wear and tear, to see how that's progressing over the flights. And then, of course, we have the nice option to fly to some very beautiful destinations. So like now, right now here in Vagar, beautiful. Looking very nice indeed. Yeah, the Wing Tiller, and again they are really having low prices, aren't they? Weren't they like the radio panel here? So the older version, of course, from the older 320s. Wasn't that like 7750 or something? And then the radio management panel, that was a bit more expensive. That was 110 or something. But the tiller, how much was the tiller actually? 100 or something? Hey, Anderson. Oh, really? Okay. Well, yeah, I didn't. I kind of wait now with the graphics drivers, etc. So I'm still running an older graphics driver, and then only once I hear people saying it's good, then I start going into the and updating the drivers. Yeah, Alipay, I agree. For me, the squawk panel, or the transponder panel, really, you don't use that much. I understand people that want to build a kind of a full A320 cockpit setup at home, with at a lot different or a lot for lower price compared to the other hardware options that you have. And I get that, right? Then, of course, you want to have, to get a complete kind of cockpit, you want to have the transponder panel as well. But honestly, transponder panel. Now, the audio control panel, of course, that is actually also nice to have, because that way you obviously can, adjust the volumes very, very nicely, very quickly. Yeah, I do like that as well. Hello, Humber. And Fishbone, hello to you. And greetings to Frank. Greetings to Belgium. How are you? Yeah, so I already have a tiller, which was very expensive. I kind of regret it now, but although, I mean, it's a good quality product, right? But of course, I could have saved some money if I'd waited a few more months, maybe. Oh yeah, and by the way, that I pre-ordered the 737 MCP, right? It's still, I know you can, if you get it from global shipping, you can get it now. But I said I want to have it from Europe, so European shipping, and it's still on waiting list. They must have such a backlog of orders. They're probably making a ton of money. I think that for them it's a dream come true with Microsoft Flight Sim and the hardware stuff. Did your wife ever find out? Well, up to now, no. And if she ever really complains, I guess one day I have to use my Joker with the records that she sold. Just saying, right? I still have not used that that Joker yet. 1716, is that correct? Yes, it is. Yours arrived last week. You waited for since April. Yeah, same for me. I honestly, I think, yeah, the same. Yeah, I've been waiting for months now. So we have good database. That's good. We're going from Vagar to Glasgow. The alternate is Edinburgh. We're called Windmill 013. Let's do the wind request. Hey, MW Racing, nice to see you. Yeah, the couch is not so comfortable, I'm afraid. What should I say? Okay, force feedback rudder pedals. I'm wondering, so TV. You know what? I assume regarding, and I know you know that as well. The thing is that most airliners, let's say literally all airliners, have a hydraulic unit to power the rudders, right? So everything you do here is a synthetical feel unit. And even on a 737, I don't remember that the forces ever changed with airspeed. Right, so in conventional aircraft, yes, of course. Right, the faster you fly, the harder it gets to press the rudder pedals. I get that. But for airliners, I don't really see. Okay, it's more like the simulation of weight, like load cell racing pedals. Okay. 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 So like you set it to your preference. But TV, what's good? What would be good in that regard, if you could actually then deactivate the force feedback completely via the software, and then have it like helicopter, helicopter. What's it called? Not collective. So for the rudder per se, but yeah, there it you put it into a position and you can let go and it stays in that position, right? Cuban, hello to you. I guess a force feedback would be rudder trim that physically moves the pedals. That could also be the case, yeah? That could also be the case, yes. And Luke, hello to you. Oh, there we go. Just took a while. Okay, so flight plan, guys. Let me give you a quick overview. We're expecting a load of 18.9 tons, zero fuel weight 69.1. The routing, so the flight time is 1 hour 10. I think we're going up to level 370, climb. 370, yes. Edinburgh, a ton of extra fuel for that. So we need 52.1. And it's the... Where's my fueler? Why is my fueler there yet? Hey Nate, yeah, so hopefully it can be config 3 toga. Well, we'll see. We'll see. All right, let me just do the over the panel really quickly. Let's get going. Leave the strobe light off for VATSIM. Yeah. So I'm already on VATSIM. Anybody wants to fly along? I've just posted the routing there. Let me just do that again. And let me post that also for people on... Oops. On YouTube. And I'll post the other routing later. Hey, Frau Lado, hello to you. Svenja, correct? On Sunday. Nice, GG's. Well, I always, my wife also loves to go to all these yoga classes, and I admire the motivation they have, or she has, with that. I'm more like, I like to cycle and get my heart rate up, and hey MAN, greetings. They still needs MAN, probably, right? Happy holidays then to you. I find it interesting that when you do the fire tests, I think it was the fire test 1, that the equipment cooling goes off. I've never noticed that in the real aircraft. So that looks good. Okay. Right, weather-wise, let's have a look at the weather real quickly. So we have Vagar currently overcast. What, overcast 400? Hang on. Are we on live weather? Yeah, we are. Huh? 29, 16, 20, 11 degrees, 1014. What? Hang on. Is that overcast? Oh, it is. It is. Then maybe it's just got worse. All right, 1014. Propaganda. So, 1014, 11 degrees. Also, let me just check the 11 degrees. Yep, 11 degrees it is. Okay, nice. Glasgow, no cloud, 20 degrees, 1021. Beautiful weather. Later, well, at night, tomorrow morning, rain drizzle. And then departure alternate Bergen. Interesting. So in case we have an engine failure, we should be going to Bergen instead of returning to Vagar. Okay. And then Edinburgh, the normal destination alternate is good, cab okay. Right, cool. Let's look at the RAIM. So satellite data, no outages. Looking good. Runway analysis. Okay, that's interesting. So takeoff and landing report. I mean, that's from SimBrief. And interesting. So remember, guys, what we were talking about the other day regarding takeoff performance? So it's giving me field length limit. And that's, of course, something I would expect because the runway here is very short, right? 321, it is pushing its performance envelope. So before we actually go any further, let me just have a look at the estimated takeoff weight, 74.3. Let's do a preliminary calculation. Difficult word. So Lima Fox Tango Hotel, circle to land, runway 23. Okay, let me make a screenshot of that. Yeah, let's have a look then. Packs off. Good idea, actually, Ghost. Yeah, I like that. I would totally agree with that. So 210 at 8. So let me just put 210 at 3. 11 degrees, 1014. And then we do runway... well, it's crosswind. Doesn't help at all, does it? Well, we're going to go with 30. Although... well, then let me have a look at the climb wind. Let's see what the wind further up says. Yeah, so it's more westerly. So let's take 300, 30 at Vagar for the departure. 30 it is. So 74.4, 28.6, 30. Air conditioning off. Anti-ice, 11 degrees. Yeah, should be fine. Anti-ice off and then optimum. Right, let's see if that's even possible here. And now we have the salad. Yeah, exactly. Ooh, we can. And there we go. Look at that. It's flexing still. It's a config 3. It's flexing. Let me have a look at config 2. Let's see if that's possible. Yeah, so config 2 toga. And you see here what the FSLabs is giving me as well. It's giving me a field length limit. So let me just use that really quickly. Don't worry, I'm not going to bore you to death, but I just want to give you guys some more background information to give you more knowledge on what to look for. So I did some calculations with VPT, the virtual performance tool. And it was interesting to see the different variations, right? Regarding the improved climb technique as an example. Right, now, today, guys, as you already know from that stream we did, here today, we can't do any improved climb calculations, right? That is just simply not possible. And now you're wondering, what the hell is he on about? What's improved climb? Yeah, you remember, guys, if you have a little bit of performance buffer regarding field, regarding the field length limit, right? So what it means is that if you're two cases, so the just a field length case now, right? So the acceleration go with an engine failure and the acceleration stop, right? If that's the balanced version, so both of these variations, or even more variations, so these variations being pretty equal, you would have a balanced V1 situation, meaning you will come to stop with plenty of room available on the runway, or you will reach that 15 or 35 feet height over the runway at the same position, right? So you have a stop margin, okay? So today, you can see that I forced config 2 with Toga. It gives me, with the lower V1, 281 meters stop margin, with the upper V1, 200 meter stop margin. Okay, so we still have a little bit of stop margin. Now today, obviously, there would be no option to do anything with improved climb. However, if you have like Frankfurt Airport, 4-kilometer runway, you will have plenty of stop margin even with, you know, like 57 flex or whatever, right? What you can do then is use the improved climb technique. And so you can increase your climb gradient, single engine, by increasing V2. Now that also means that VR and V1 will be increased, okay? But you can see the different climb outs. So if you don't use improved climb, your V1, so VR, V1, V2 will be lower. You'll get airborne sooner, but the climb out will be less. So climb out performance, the climb out gradient will be less. However, if you increase your VR, V1, V2 speed, you will lift off a bit later, but the climb out will be improved, right? So the advantage is it gives you an increase in the max allowable takeoff weight or using less thrust, but that's only again for the climb and the obstacle case, okay? It increases the tail clearance and it gives you a steeper climb out, reducing noise on the ground. Now, the disadvantages of using improved climb, the RTO stopping margin will be reduced, you see? Right, of course, yeah. And the tire wear increases. Why? Well, because you're going to be at a higher ground speed before you lift off. So these two are the cons, right? And these are the pros of this. But that's kind of a nice picture explaining that improved climb method. And again, you can only use that. You can only use that if you don't have a field length limited takeoff weight. Okay. And so the other two calculations that we have to do, second segment and the obstacle calculation, both of these are not restricting. Right. So that means for me, once we're airborne with an engine failure, we're fine. Okay. We can climb out easily. What's the number for field length? What's that? Yeah, 82.1 tons. Yeah. Right. So Aviamar, so the reason is why does it give me that? Okay, 82.1. Why does it give me that even though I'm only going to weigh 74.4. Well, this would be, there would be just changes in airspeed, but we could go all the way up. Look, 82.1. All right. And there we go. I'm not even sure, did the speeds change? No, they changed a little bit, not much though. I would have expected a little bit more speeds on that. But you can see now, we can do 82.1 tons of takeoff weight. Right, we don't have that today, but we could theoretically. All right. Now let me do 82, look at that. So 82.2, not possible. Okay. So let's go back to 74.4. So now that we actually have less than the max possible, what's happening is that we're going to be able to stop or lift off earlier. We're not going to use all of the runway, meaning that we have a stop margin. Right? Let me put this back to optimum. So it's going to give us a config 3 departure. Right? And again, obviously, it gives us lower speeds. So we can lift off, rotate and lift off earlier. And it even gives us the option to flex to 36 degrees. Okay. Now, interesting. Now with the config 3, we can actually take off with 83.7 tons. Right. However, you see, because we've got lower speeds, right, we can achieve the lower speeds sooner, meaning we could take off here with field length limit at a higher weight. However, now we can see, because of the config 3 having a lot more drag, the second segment and the obstacle are getting more restrictive. I mean, we're still field length limited, right? That's still the worst case for us. But those two are also giving us an idea that the climb out is going to be more challenging. Right? Yeah, so now the question is, what will you go with? Hey, Goldfishly, so what will you guys go with? Config 3 or config 2? Fuel.
Refueling truck is on its way.
And then let's do the following. Let's go boarding. A request.
Please don't load aircraft until the fuel truck arrives
Board
and
now.
asked to do it.
Now for that, obviously, we're going to have the seatbelts to off.
Boarding requested.
You would go with config 2? Hey, easy Mark. So how about config 1? Config 1 plus F. Let's have a look if that's even possible. It is possible. However, at the cost of field length, right? But nevertheless, it still gives me of ample stop margin. So now really, the question is, do we want to go with Toga, or do we want to go and use the flex? And this is one of those questions that the captain and the co-pilot will have to discuss, right?
Fuel truck is in position.
So you can imagine if you use Toga thrust and you have an engine failure at 142, or let's say 143 knots, it's going to be more challenging to recover that with the yaw moment, right? Because you're using Toga power. So if I go with config 2, oh, sorry, that was 3, wasn't it? Config 3. Then theoretically, it's going to give us flex 36. Now the difference in N1, I don't know, not much probably. probably not much, but we can check that later. Now the fuel truck is there. Fantastic. All right. Exactly. So that's the question, right, Aviamar, that you would have to put yourself. You know, Flex 36 is very close to Toga, right? So indeed, that's the question. Is you know, is that worth it? So if I look at all the options, with config 1, config 3, config 2, I wouldn't go with config 1 because I think with config 2 and Toga, we still have a nice stop margin. Second is still fine, and we have a bit more field length clearance. So I would probably go with config 2 today. Right. That's probably what I'm going to... Yeah. Yeah, config 2 also for tail strike, yes. That's also something you could consider, yes. Yeah, here's flaps 1 again.
Your crew has boarded. Passengers boarding starting.
So Goldfisher, you asked, do you actually think the FSLabs is worth the price compared to the Phoenix? Well, it's tough for me to make that choice because I'm using features, you know, that I really love using, like the tech logbook, getting some challenges with some failures sometimes, and some you know, MEL items that I have to go through, because that's really what the real life of an airline pilot is about. So you know, if you don't care about these things, then I don't know. I don't know if you know, the price is worth for you. I mean, so I can't answer that question for you. I enjoy the FSLabs because of the extra features it offers. Hey, Mighty, how you doing? Yeah, it's very difficult to get to some good performance calculators, but I think SimBrief does a good job with the 321 Neo at least. And we say on the ground, MEL it and send it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's a good point. So Tatik has just asked about if we have permission for the narrow runway operation. So we're now getting again into the real world operational aspects. Okay, so he is referring to the fact that the runway only has a width of 30 meters, right? So, of course, it means that if you have an engine failure on takeoff, the yaw moment has to be handled extremely well, because, you know, 30 meters is not much, right? So if you start yawing left, right a little bit, drifting a bit, you know, you could be off the runway very quickly. So, of course, there are, you know, operators that have different limitations, different approvals, different trainings for the pilots, etc. So, yeah, IRL, you would probably need a approval for that. And I'm not even sure if the 321 is actually operated into Vagar. I know the 320 is, but I'm not sure about the
overhead locker. Wheels first, and keep your small items
about the
under seat in front of you. These include...
Hello, sir. Good evening. Don't mind me. Right. Yeah, so, yeah, good point. But that's true. Yeah, exactly, Organ, right? Because, you know, you've made one for the 320, an ice calculator. So, yes, indeed. Oh, nice. Lufty next to us. So, definitely difficult to get these performance calculators, or the data for the calculators. So let me just have a look here. So I'm just going to do a quick outside check here, make sure the aircraft is good. All the aircraft is being, tires looking good. Yeah, the strut also, you make sure the strut has some, is extended. All right. Yeah, maybe whale, appreciate it. The thing is though, so maybe whale, really, the performance calculations is one of the more complicated. Oh, Shift C, is it really? Oh no, that's to get in and out of the cockpit for me, Rui. Yeah, so the performance calculations is yeah, C doesn't, maybe I have a different different setup. So C itself doesn't do much for me. Hey, Capitan. That looks good. Capitan, where do you get the data for climb out segment? I'm not aware of any other developer includes those in the calculations. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I don't know where FSLabs get it from. As far as I remember from the P3D days, they do have some data. And some people say it's from British Airways. Some, I don't know if that's true, but this is payware. Now, the next question is which add-on maker? I would have to look. I don't know. How would you rate the aircraft so far? Well, for me, it's been, so I've only done one full flight yet. So for me, it's got some things, and I did report to the developers. I think the config 3 pitch value was a bit off. I would have to look into my documents to see the exact values. But yeah, and then the power seems to be a little bit too much. So the climb rates were a bit high for some people. So yeah, I guess there's some things that need to be improved still. But I know the Phoenix has the same issues. Right, so the Phoenix is also lacking the accuracy regarding the pitch and power values. Yeah, you're right. It is MK Studios. Yeah, that's the one. Delta X, thanks. Yeah, it is MK Studios. You are correct. Now, honestly, no joke. So I know I'm in a simulator, but hearing those sounds and seeing these vehicles driving around makes me so aware of my surroundings, meaning I've got to be so careful because trust me, there's so much happening, so many accidents happening on the apron. And so as an example, I would never ever walk around here. I would never walk here, right? I try to minimize, you see, that's the reason, right? Getting run over by the baggage cart, right? So for me, I always look to stay near the fuselage. So I would normally then move here. Right, gives me a chance to look at the radio altimeter antennas down here as well, and look for any tail strikes, any scrape indications there. But yeah, but then of course for the stabilizer, I have to go here, and you can see the problem. You know, you have sometimes looking up, especially with the sun glare. Yeah, exactly, Capitan. Perfect illustration. Yeah. So again, it's these things. Outside checks, terrible. They are dangerous. No joke. Ghost, yes, it has to. So right now, there's no hydraulic power on the aircraft. So when you move the doors, it needs yellow hydraulic power. So that's why the yellow electric pump comes on with the cargo doors. Yeah. Well, life is dangerous per se. I agree, but here, it's a lot more dangerous. Trust me. Dennis, good evening. Yeah, I mean, so Bruno was joking, saying that I think they have like almost 40 degrees in Lisbon or something, and he said, "Well, I bet the captain's always doing the return flight, Lisbon, Frankfurt, or Lisbon, London, whatever, so that they don't have to do the outside checks in Lisbon because it's hot. 40 degrees, man. Dennis, how are you doing? Nice to see you. So what do I think of it compared to the Phoenix? Well, I have to say, so Phoenix and I think the FSLabs in many aspects are very close together. I think there's a couple of areas where the Phoenix is better. For example, the sounds, and I think textures in parts is definitely better on the Phoenix still. But things are improving on the FSLabs as well. I guess it's always a bit of a balance regarding performance, etc. So, but yeah, it's it's close. I don't think there's that much quality difference between the two. New pilot, please. Yeah, exactly. Right. Okay. So fueling. Let's have a look. Fueling has been completed, has it? 5.5, correct. And then outside check was completed, looking good outside. So let's have a look at the 69.1. We already got a preliminary load sheet. So let's have a look at what that says. That says 68. 68. Okay, let's do 68. And block fuel is 5.5. Yeah, 5.5. So let's do 68 in here, and then 5.5. And the alternate fuel, we did say it's let's say 1 ton. So we have
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on board.
well, so that's a bit much really, but we'll have a look for the rest in a minute. So we did say we want to go from runway 30, and we are going to expect the Rakup to Papa departure. So what's the difference then between Papa and November?
Your seatbelt can now be fastened, ready for departure. This is a
yeah, Krushu, it does that automatically. When you do your init here in the FSLabs, it will send you the initial load sheet. Yeah. So let's have a look for the SIDs. So here we got the 2 Papa. So that's an RNAV, and what's this one? That's also... okay, so this is restricted to aircraft with wingspan below 40 meters. But didn't the 320 have 36 somethings? 36.1 meters or something? All right, so that should also be able. What's this? It's the same. It's also... Let's see what else it says. So special special authorization. What's the 2 November? Also special authorization. So I'm trying to figure out, because there is a difference in routing, you see? This one goes more to the left. So maybe design gradients difference. So that's 8.7, and for the November, it's also 8.7 and 3.3. So that's not it. $230. Okay, so maybe wind. Yeah, exactly. Read Pepito. Yeah, that's the last thing I just came to. So with wind direction 200 to 260 degrees. Okay, so when the wind is from this direction, it will push you more towards the mountains, obviously. That's why maybe... Now, hang on. Yeah, so this one, 260 to 040. Well, I guess it has to do with turbulence. So if the wind is from this sector here, coming over the mountains, you have a routing takes you more to the south, so maybe that's why you have less of these lee waves. So today we have the weather, the wind currently. Let me just check the actual wind. Yeah, that's what I thought, Organ, right? It's below 36, even with the sharklets. Yeah, I would have to look exactly how much, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. So let me just get the latest weather. So we have 210 at 8. So then we should take the 2 November. Yeah, all right. We'll do that. We'll take the 2 November instead. Hey, continuous ignition. How are you supposed to read it to? It's restricted to planes with that wingspan, or do you have the wingspan? Yeah, so really the only thing that's... So any aircraft that has a wingspan above 40 meters is not allowed to use these 2 departures. So then you would have to look at some other departures. And refile maybe on a different routing, etc. So these are strictly restricted to aircraft below 40 meters. But I would assume you would hardly get aircraft in here with more than 40 meters. It's 35.8. There we go. I thought it's somewhere at 36. That much I did remember. Yeah. Cool. All right. So that's cleared up now. So we use the 2 November departure. Routing all the way to the Erson. And then from Erson, it's going to be to Glasgow. And then we have the Erson 1 Golf that leads us to Foyle. And then very likely, let me just have a look at the weather in Glasgow. It's 220 at 9. So we are going to expect an ILS approach 2-3. That's interesting. They have no RMP approaches. Is that real? That's strange. Okay, but I would then I guess from Doyle or Foyle, sorry, Foyle, it will be a radar vectored approach, right? Yeah, aircraft may be instructed direct to waypoints following radar vectors. So do not proceed beyond Foyle without ATC clearance. Yeah. And expect 90 by Foyle. All right, so that's going to be Foyle and then radar vectors for the approach. Yeah, and continuous ignition, always be aware that we are talking about not real world charts. So these charts are, you know, for flight sim use only. So always use that with, you know, with some sense of being, you know, unrealistic. Okay, so fuel 4467 is in. And then we'll send that off Chevron today, okay. So I don't think we're going to have departure ATIS. Let's send that off. There we go. Probably just have META today. Yeah, no ATIS. And that's the final load sheet. Let's accept that. 66.3. Didn't we have 68 initially? Yeah. Is that one of those bugs again where it didn't load the cargo? Yeah, because I have a feeling if you let SimBrief do cargo. Oh, hang on, it's got cargo in here. Huh? Hold on, AOC menu. Let's go. Let's have a look for the actual. I have a feeling that. 'Cause, 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 No, it's got cargo. So...
A gift from me to you.
Oh, MAN.
Enjoy the gifted sub.
MAN, thank you so much. My God, MAN. Another 5 gifted. MAN, thank you. Vielen Dank. And again, happy holidays to you. Man. So, guys, so shuttle... over Manatak, Deflors, and Sipchi say a big thank you to MAN for gifting you those subs. MAN, once again, vielen Dank. Enzo, hello to you. Organ, you have your driving test. All the best wishes for that, Organ, in a week. Okay, shuttle. Yeah, thank you. All right. I was saying here. So I don't know why. Okay, we're just going to take it as it is. We're just going to accept the fact that we have a lot less. What? What's happening? Why panic? Hang on. Hey Lee, good Abend. Yeah, Hasso, the question is though, would it simulate that many different I don't think that command is that command not working? Probably not. Oh, giving me a fright. Yeah, I look, you know what it goes, just when you gave that panic command, I was looking at my streaming window, the OBS window, because I thought the stream has died, but no. It's about 2 tons, Hazo. So we expected 68. Initially on the preliminary, we had 68 tons. So here we had 67.9 or 68 tons expected. And the final has come in at 66.3. High life, flight level, hello. But it's fine, we'll take that, okay? So 66.3, it can happen, and 27.7. Where's my 66.3? So 66.3 and 27.7. So these are the actual values. Okay. So we'll take those values now for the takeoff calculation for the final values. So the final weight is 71.6 and 75.4. I'll take 71.7 just in case we don't use that much fuel. So 71. Oops, 0.7, and let me just get the latest METAR again here. So we have the wind 210 at 8, so we'll leave that in like that. Then we have 11 degrees, 1014 still, overcast 800, okay. And we'll leave that, and then it was 27.7 for the CG. 27.7. Now we'll do optimum first of all, runway 30. Let's see what the optimum gives us. Oops, optimum gives us.
Vegas traffic, Golf Sierra X-ray, zip zone, fucking runway 30, back traffic.
Nice, have a good flight.
Vagar traffic, Lufthansa 26 Mike, we'll wait for the inbound to arrive, and thereafter we land and backtrack on day 12.
Oh, he's taken 1-2. Yeah, so the wind skeet, MAN skeet is a mountain somewhere here. I don't know which one of those is that mountain skeet. And they have a station there that measures the wind speeds. Because since the airport is in a valley, the wind here can be a lot different to further up. And so that's why they give you the wind skeet as well, or skite. I don't know how you pronounce that. Skeet or skite. Yeah, MAN. Thank you. So yeah, I think we're still going to go with the config 2 variation. So let's take config 2, and we also get flex now. You see, I'll take the lower V1 so that we have a bit more stop margin. 82.1 maximum. Yeah, well, let's take that then. So we have flaps 2 up 2, oh, up 0.2. So and yeah, we have to be very careful now with that those values. 36 full length, runway 30, and 1273439. Right, and then we'll check again for the procedures here. Hey, Peter. Hello. Peter, regarding the
Oh, thank you. Then we Lufthansa 26 Mike. We will line up and take
the Top Cat app, right? Have you seen? I doubt there's a 321 Neo profile anywhere. Is there? Hey, Mr. Tomboy, thank you so much for the 29 months. That's a long time. Hello. Thank you so much, Tom. Thank you. Oh, you have an A... Oh, I wish I had an AC unit. It's going to get really hot next days here. So we have NADP 1, 1780 and 3280. And then we have runway 30, 1800. And that's the procedure that I'm going to put in. So,
sure, no problem. Clear runway.
So we'll do that.
Thanks.
Then, actually, you know what? Let's put Bergen in here as the alternate for takeoff. All right. And then for the fix info, we'll take Vagar runway 30. Initial course will be 302. Although we have to be careful with that. 302. And then it's going to be 6 miles from Sierra Foxtrot. Let's have a look. Does that make sense? Yeah. So straight out. Let's get terrain on here. Let's see what that looks like. Pandafly, hello to you. Yeah, no worries, Peter. No worries. No worries. Don't worry about it. All good. Let's take the nav mode here. It doesn't show me. But anyway, so straight out to this point, and then we go right, track 220. No, disregard. Oh no, you've got to be joking. Why? You've got to be kidding me. That is so weird. I have, you know, the whole sim, everything was going so nicely. I had no problems. There was no sound cracklings or even the fans are not really revving up that high. Like, why did it crash? No, it doesn't. It doesn't work. Yeah, no. If it's even if you don't press OK, you can't do anything. The whole thing freezes. Hang on. Let me just. I just want to see one more thing here. There's just one thing I want to. So hardware acceleration has to be off, otherwise OBS is crashing. Let me just see here. Find a setting. And then there was one more thing. Guys, there's something regarding optimization. Now hardware acceleration, I have to have hardware acceleration GPU shading off. And then it says, well, it's not a windowed game, is it? So Yeah, TV. Anybody else? Has anybody else had issues like this lately? With the device drive? Yeah, it's strange. It is really strange. Yeah, but the thing is, there's a difference between CPU and GPU. The device driver hung is a GPU issue. Yeah, I know it can be driver related. The thing is, though, I have not updated drivers, right? So yes, 2 days ago when we tried the FSLabs, we did a wonderful flight, had no issues. And the only issue we had was OBS, but that was because of hardware acceleration, which should be off, not on. Yeah, I'm not overclocking the GPU either. GPU, I'm not messing at all with the GPU. Let me try something else here. Let me limit the FPS externally. Yeah, like I said, the cooling fans, they had no problem whatsoever. So normally, you know, when I hear that the cooling fans in my PC, then I know it's getting hot. But there was no indications whatsoever. Right. So what we'll do, we're going to try to set up everything really quickly with instant loading, because we've already been through everything, explained everything. Yeah, because the thing is, let me just check where I've limited them.
Services.
3D settings. And then right, let me just check. Program settings. And then 2024, Microsoft 2024. Yeah, max frame rate is 60. So I'm already limiting that. So that's not it. Okay, anyways, let's quickly do that. Here, the external power cart. Come on. So I'm just going to do a really quick loading here so that we don't waste more time. Oh, that's good. Wow, no way. It's hanging again. What is going on? Yeah, it froze. What is going on? All right. Hey, Bruno. I am a bit at a loss. I don't know why it's causing these issues. Yeah, the thing is, regarding Microsoft 2020, I did check that today as well. For some reason, weird reason, I'm getting like 40 FPS there. Clear the WASM folder? Really? Looks like a WASM issue. Which ones though? Because there's different WASM folders, right? Yeah, there we go. So yeah, I was just wondering. Well, I've not seen a WASM folder in the FSLabs folders. Yep. Hey, Bilou. Yeah. One thing though that can cause issues is if you use a Reaver tuner, and so the freezing that is. And I did start Reaver tuner to set the FPS at 60 max, so maybe that just caused the issue there. So I've closed Reaver tuner. What I find interesting is the fact that suddenly, you know, when things are running smoothly and then suddenly something pops up like this DXGI driver hung. That's something I haven't seen for ages as well. Maybe clear the DAT file scenery. Could it be scenery related because the scenery isn't officially supported? Could be. Where is that goes? The DAT files in the scenery index folder. Yeah, sure. I mean, if I run, like I said, this is the first time I haven't updated the driver for like 3 weeks or 4 weeks, the graphics driver. So running into that issue suddenly is weird. But of course, I mean, there could have been an update with Microsoft Flight Sim, which then causes issues with...
You need to set parking brakes to request ground services.
Right, I'm going to give it one more try, guys, shall we? Just one more, and then if it doesn't work, I'm going to have to see what else we can do. No, it's just the SU2. I don't use any betas, no. Can't find leg 1 and leg 2. I think those were those were the ones that we did for the pre-release stream. That was from Athens to Cyprus somewhere to. Okay, that file, scenery index folder. Yeah, okay, thanks, Ghost. I'll have a look for that, and then see if that causes the issue. Yeah, well, I'll look into that. Thank you. You rebooted the machine, it hasn't rehabbed. Okay. Yeah, but rebooting would mean I would have to stop the stream and everything. All right, so let's do 3-0 real quickly. That was the 2 November we said. We'll do the Alice 23 via the Elzor, approach via Novaya, return insert. Then let's do, yeah, fuel is in. Boarding, also request instant. So now we have the final value. So this time we actually do have 68.0 with 29.7. Yeah, so Tech & Co. Indeed, I do prefer the FSLabs fly-by-wire feel at the moment. But I mean, the Phoenix, they're saying that they're going to bring out a big update soon, so you know, things may change there as well. We'll see. So 68.0, 31, 5.5. Let's do wind request. And then that was 1 ton for Edinburgh. That is done. Performance, let's check the performance values again really quickly. Takeoff. So 74.4, is that correct? Mass and balance. Oh, there we go. Haven't had a look at that. So here we got 73.5. Okay, interesting. Yeah, 73.5. So let's do 73.3. Let's do 73.4. Just in case we don't have 28.6 air conditioning off, anti-ice off. And I think the best thing was config 2. Let's try that again. Tech and Co, thank you so much for kind words. Appreciate it. It's my pleasure. Yeah, so let's do again the config 2 variation. I think that was There we go. So config 2 down 0.1. So 2 down 0.1. It was flex 32. Not much flex, but we'll take it. And then speeds 28, 35, 40. The engine out at NADP 1, so let me put in 1780, acceleration 3280, and that was an 1800. Just going to copy the active. I'm just going to expedite things here. Let me just do that. So all right, RS alignment 6 minutes, so we have a few minutes to spare for the briefing. Wasn't the last wind that we checked? Wasn't like just crosswind, but the wind further up was headwind. That was the reason why we chose. Okay, so right now it's shifted 200 at 7. Yeah, but look at the wind at Skeed. So Skeed, the wind further up is 230 at 8. So if we take off 1-2, we'll have some tailwind for the engine out case. So I'd rather actually use 30. That's fine. Yeah, 283. Good. Alrighty, so for the departure, taxi out. So we'll taxi out backtrack 30, and then the SID is the Rakup 2 November. Waypoint 772, 774, 778, 780, 782 Odeva. And the speed restrictions until 782 is 230 knots. Yeah, 230. Actually, no, not Odeva, Rakup, disregard. I'm going to Rakup. So 780 Rakup. Now, one thing is confusing me a bit. Let's just check something here. There's a lot more waypoints then. So 740, 772. Ah, there we go. 740, 772, 774, 778. Yeah, now I got it. 776, 778. Oh, because that's hidden there. Okay, 776, 778. Okay, now I get it. So many waypoints left and right. 780 Rakup. Okay, that's all good. And Rakup transition is in 7.5. So let's do 7,000 then. $7,000 is set. Constraints. That. Now let's connect again to VATSIM. Two minutes to the line. Otherwise, what else can we brief? 4,000 for the MSA. High terrain to the north. So we should stay to the south. Then we are good in 4,000 feet. Special threats, well, threats as we said, terrain. A bit of tailwind on takeoff. But we've covered that with our performance calculations. Config 2. Flex 32. And we have extra fuel. Here it says 44 minutes. And on the flight plan, it says extra fuel. Very interesting. We only took like... we didn't take any extra fuel here. So trip fuel is 2,700. That is a bit weird. Yeah, we'll monitor that, but that's a bit strange. .9 version. We'll get to the ground that. Although, let me just check the fuel flow it has here. Yeah, so average fuel flow 2,325. That looks for the 320 Neo looks realistic, doesn't it? Hayden, hello to you, and Pilot 19. You like the FSLabs today? That's good to hear. I'm happy to hear that. Right, so finally we have everything now running. So that is that. APU is running. Let's do the first set of checklists then. So before start checklist, keep its covers removed. Signs are on. We have ADIRs. NAF. We have fuel quantity 5,480 kilograms, and that is balanced. Then we have altimeters. Should be 1014, 1014, 1014 at 300 feet. And right, windows, doors. I know the cockpit door is still open. Oh, hello. That scared me. I didn't expect that. I didn't know it would simulate the cabin like that. Excuse me. These memes sometimes. All right, so closed and locked. So windows, doors closed. Then let's do the beacon. Yeah, I do have the Phoenix as well. Yeah, beacon on. And the last item is parking brake as required is on. So let me have a look. Why? So let's put the chocks off. The GPU is actually gone. Yeah, that's correct. Because we put the Hey, Talon.
Crew, please arm your doors for departure.
Thank you. That's what I was looking for. So, hey Yoda, wie geht's dir? We're cycling today. It was warm. I wouldn't say hot though. I mean, it was warm. And Yoda, thanks for 68.
Wow, Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, a very good evening and welcome to your day. My name is Norman. It's my pleasure to introduce the rest of the crew today. Working with the front, we have Tim in the center.
Alright, am I not remembering it correctly? So normally you could press interphone.
We are here for your comfort, but primarily for your safety. With that in mind, please, we do ask for the 2 minutes of your time once we take you through the safety
Ah, okay.
of the system.
Oh, it's because it's not. It's a taxi out. There's no pushback here, correct?
Procedures on this aircraft. A safety card is in your seat pocket, showing the exit routes, oxygen masks, life jackets, and
That's
brace
why.
position that you must adopt if you hear
Have a good
brace,
trip.
brace. There are 2 emergency exits at the rear or in the middle.
That's why, maybe. Okay, let's start the
and
engines.
front of the cabin. Floor lighting will guide you to an exit.
So we've done the before start checklist. Engines start.
In an emergency,
Fuel pumps are on.
cabin baggage on board.
Starting engine
Your
1.
seatbelt is fastened, adjusted, and released.
Hey, Black Super.
Your tray table must now be
Honestly, I
straight,
like the
arms
sounds.
down, window blinds open, and seatbelt fastened.
Starting engine 2. That sounded really nice. Nice sounds with the PTU. Woo, woo, woo. Exactly. So you don't like the tablet speed, yeah. And Yoda, you went 110 kilometers, blimey. I only went 30. My favorite dog, the PTU dog, yeah, true. Adlua, hello to you. So I have to say that's nice sounds, right? Let's do the after start flows. Not working, okay. Flaps 2. The trim is down 0.1. APU and bleed off, and then let's do the fly controls. Full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, rudder left, right, and that's that. Let's do the after start checklist. Anti-ice off, ecam status is checked. We have pitch trim at that is 28% roundabout, down 0.1, and rudder trim is neutral, and that's the after start checklist completed. Need to set my push to talk button quickly. Give me a second. Hold on. Come on. Vagar traffic, windmill 013, taxiing, holding short runway 30 in Vagar. Off we go. Black Super, you got a question. It takes ages to refuel using GSX. Well, I mean, in real life, it does take a while as well to fuel the A320. So let me have a look here real quickly. Let's just stop. ATC. We'll use Squawk here. We'll use TCAS on already. Let's just check the TCAS, make sure there's nobody on final. That looks all good. So let's read the before takeoff checklist. Flight controls check. Flaps config 2 checked. Takeoff speed flex 128, 135, 140, flex 32. Eco memo, takeoff, no blue, down to the line. Vagar traffic, windmill 013, lining up, backtracking runway 30 in Vagar. Yeah, the rudder trim is normally just used in engine failure case, yeah. You would not really touch it otherwise, no. Wow, that bump here in the, look at that slope, crazy. Yeah, and there you can see that 30-meter wide runway. The runway goes to here. Yeah, cabin is ready. You can see that here. So departure was briefed up to 7,000. In case of engine failure, we'll do... yeah, I'll tell you what, we'll follow the departure route initially, and then we try to get out over water. Beautiful scenery. Love it. Look at that. Gorgeous. Below the line, we have takeoff runway 30 will be full length, packs off, right? Packs are off, and that's the before takeoff checklist completed. Now, I'm sure I'm going to forget to switch on the packs after departure. Good thing is there is a reminder with the caution message there. Oh, should be a reverse. There you go. What's the difference between checklist and items? Okay, so items are you know, switching of certain, well, manipulating certain switches or performing certain programming in the MCDU. Those are items, so things that pilots have to do. Now, checklists are only there to check the vital items, or that the vital items have been performed. Right, so that's the difference between items. So you could say as well that obviously there's a lot more items that pilots have to do compared to how many things are actually then checked, verified through a checklist. Oh, come on. Oh, don't stop. Oh, no. Oh, that's always bad. Then you have to get the nose wheel to...
Vagar traffic, Fairline 430, taxiing to holding point, runway 12, holding short, Vagar.
There we go. Svenja, is that okay now, or do you still have a question in that regard? Cool. All right, we've done all the items. So let me check. Wonderful. That is working. Done everything. Let's depart. Yes. So items. When I do like lineup items or before start items, so we do the items, right? We do the switching. And then we call for the checklist. I think that makes more sense, right? Hey, Beethoven. And Vagar traffic, windmill 013 departing runway 30 in Vagar. Let's go. Takeoff. Manflex 32, SAS runway auto thrust blue. Thrust set. $100 knots. That slope. V1, rotate. Straight into the wind. Positive rake, gear up. NAF. Oh, yes, please. Yeah. Amazing. Look at that. So we have now SRS NAF.
Vagar traffic, airline 430 backtracking number 12 Vagar.
Yeah, you see the wind now? That's why I want to take 30 for departure.
Ladies and gentlemen, please keep your seatbelt.
Thrust climb, auto thrust. What? Gear? Why is the gear still there? Oh no. You're joking. Hang on.
Remember, smoking is not permitted at any time. This includes
Blimey.
In just a few moments, we'll commence our in-flight service, offering you the chance to purchase from a selection of fresh.
Why did the gear go up?
All these
But why did my...
airlines
Well, you guys, you're my first officers.
also purchase a selection of hot beverages together with drinks and snacks from the bar. We accept payments in pounds, euros,
Flaps 1, speed checked.
and debit or credit. The correct change would be greatly appreciated. And if we could be of any further assistance, then just ask us as we join you in the cabin shortly.
Let me just fly flaps 0, speed check, flap 0. Let's get the autopilot on. Hang on. So, why is my gear lever not working on the honeycomb? It's always working, for crying out loud. And even the G key didn't work. Like, what on earth at Star? Right, Outstar still nav. And why aren't we following that left turn here? Autopilot is on. That's interesting. Looks like we found a bug here. So why isn't that following the routing? Heading. Yeah, I have to check the bindings. So there we go. Now we got... What is happening? I'm confused. this flight is... Hey, Adamico! Buenas noches! Nice to see you. 84 months. Adamico, I hope you're doing well. Yeah, we're running into issues here right now. Let's go open climb out blue. And then let's go direct to 780. Right, NAF. Climb out blue. And here we go. We have
Vagar traffic for
standard.
430 departing runway 12, initial turn to the south Vagar.
Well, now it seems to be okay again. It's alright. So we did it with heading back on the... Oh, that's lovely. FO forgot the key pins. Honestly, that was one of my worries. Because I thought like, you know, we have failures active. So I was like, is this one of the failures? Oh yeah, and by the way, so when I was sitting here and looked at the gear indications, I only saw the right gear indication. So to me, initially, it looked like left and center were raised, and just the right gear was down. Yeah, so the tech log entries are your actual state of the aircraft. So sometimes you will see that that's new. So right hand inboard flap surface PR condition, lower surface paint in poor condition, okay. Not an MEL item, so that's okay. And door to left bonding lead broken. But that's also without any MEL items, so that's fine. Yeah, so you know, this is just a little bit more of a challenge. From time to time, you will get some issues with the aircraft that you have to deal with, and maybe even determine if you can do the flight or not, or have the aircraft repaired. I know, Bruno. I don't know. Hang on, let me see if I can change those settings. Icing detectors, so that. What about SDAC? V1 is fine. Then FCU, FMGCS. Let me change that initially here as well. Hey, Tail West. Yeah, but shouldn't that be like shouldn't that be a setting somewhere? DDRMI, satellite VC. Door open only. That's Hey, Tail West. So Tail West, how was your trip? Everything good? Yeah, Tail West, we flew back from Hyderabad. Yeah, we ran into big issues on our routing. We went south over Saudi Arabia, so Indian Ocean, Saudi Arabia, and then we got hit by several airspace closures. But luckily we had a bit extra fuel, so we could cover everything. Now, I don't know where those settings are, to be honest. With the LDEF. Oh, yeah. So food poisoning it only hit me after I got back, Tail West. So now we can get seatbelt signs. Well, that looks actually pretty nasty. Not gonna lie. Oh, no, disregard. Sorry. So here we got some weather, and we'll leave the seatbelt signs on for now. Could get a bit bumpy, but we'll switch the landing lights off. Yeah, Tail West, I saw that. So what we're on about is the fact that there's a lot of GPS jamming and spoofing going on near Iran and over Afghanistan and so on. So there's a procedure where you would start to deactivate the GPS so that you only get either DME updating, or if the DMEs are not available or of bad quality, then at some point you would get to IRS only navigation. So for example, let's see if I find it here again. Position monitor, selected nav aids. Yeah, so GPS. If we deselect GPS, all right, so GPS primary lost, we'll then go to position monitor again. So now we can see, look at this. So we don't have any radio. So this is what Tail West was facing as well. So there's no more updating through radio signals, so DME or GPS updating. So now we're only using the raw IRS position data. But that means that the accuracy will now go and get worse and worse. All right, so look at the, I mean, required here would be at least 1, or en route normally would be 5. So that should now, the actual accuracy of the navigation system will creep up slowly. No. Yeah, there's one more thing, if I remember correctly. I mean, I know the Boeing 787 does it. So what there would be so if you're flying along with just IRS updating, once you intercept the localizer, Taylor West, correct me if I'm wrong, please. So once you intercept the localizer, it'll do an update with the localizer. Because then it has a lateral accuracy again, or accurate signal. That is correct. Fantastic. My memory. Now I read that somewhere. Right, let's continue climb 370. Optimus 355. No, actually, I'll tell you what. Let's go 350. Because 1500 above the Optimus is a bit much. What happened to my window view? Oh, there we go. Oh, there's ice. No way. I just thought I saw something on the wings there as well. So let's put wing anti-ice on. Oh, that's weird. Iris align in Iceland and Greenland. How does it do that then? Would you say that the FSLabs feels better in manual flight and during landing? Well, yes. To me, it feels better at the moment compared to the Phoenix, yes. Now, again, some values are a bit off regarding the pitch and power values. Tail West, another question for you. Out of your memory, a flap 3 landing, 321 Neo, would you expect like 5-degree pitch? For me, it's been too long, but I somehow doubt that would be that bad or that high. Just want to do one thing here. Sorry for putting on pause there. Yep, that's fine. I mean, I can get some... Is it really 5 degrees? Wow. I thought that just looked way too high. Wow, okay. So let me just get into the approach. Approach. So I'm looking at the unreliable airspeed checklists, and there you have some tables, pitch and power tables. So let me just have a look at the 321 Neo for the final approach. Final approach. Okay. Yeah, for me it's too long ago. I don't remember the pitch values. Yeah, so right now, if I look at the approach speed, at 72 tons. So config 3, yeah, 147. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's pretty high. Yeah. I mean, for an A321, that is high.
Make the most of your opportunity to shop and save from the comfort of your seat. If you'd like to see any products, have any questions, or would like to make great savings...
Yeah, so Bruno, what we'll do, Bruno, today in Glasgow, let me do a config full approach. And then let's see what the pitch angle is. Yeah, we'll have a look. We'll see. Doesn't the dual slotted flap reduce pitch angle? Ghost, I don't think it would make such a big difference, to be honest, to be fair. All right, let me have a look with now. GPS primary lost. What's our... Oh, nice. That is nice. Look at that. So the accuracy is slowly decreasing. Now for us, on the 787, when we switched GPS off because we got spoofed, it went to 0.4 as the highest actual accuracy. But I think we still had a few D&E stations around, so it didn't get that bad. You think of upgrading to the 9803D X3D if you have any loading time? No. So I was using the 13900K prior, and now I am using the AMD Ryzen, yeah, 9800X3D, and no, I don't see any differences in performance. Right, wing anti-ice off. Let's get the seatbelts off. I mean, right now, so guys, so this is the thing, right? So the ice here on the icing pin indicator can stay visible, right? Even though you're outside of the clouds and the icing area. And from the flight deck, you can't see really much of the wingtip there, although you can see a bit here. That's weird. Okay, I'll take that back. Normally... because the 321 is so long, surprised I can see the wingtips there, but I can't really judge if there's any ice on that. Let me just check here if I can. Ah, there we go. Now that looks clean to me. Yeah, that looks nice and clean now. Cool. No, so Capitan, here's Altstar. Capitan, we were north of, just north of Iran, going through towards Afghanistan. That's when we got really hit by GPS jamming. Over Saudi Arabia, because I was pilot flying and I was actually in the flight deck then, we didn't have any issues with GPS, no. We did have some issues coming towards Egypt, coming towards Cairo. That's when we had some more issues, yeah. Now, here's one more thing. Okay, so maybe Tail West can correct me if I'm wrong, but that is interesting. Normally, with cost index 0, one of the things with the Neo 321s is, and quite annoying, that the commanded speed would be very close to the green dot. So we were flying like with cost index, let's say 15. And that's an interesting high cruise speed, to be honest. Because I remember that we had to put this to like 50 to get it away from the green dot. And we are pretty close to the optimum, right? So we have, look at that. So optimum 355 with 350. So again, that's something, a bit of a difference I've noticed from the real aircraft. Also, guys, the visuals, I have no complaints here. That looks actually nice and crisp, and I love how you have some, you know, it looks a bit dirty in parts, but nothing too crazy. Yeah, maybe, yeah, Tail West, that's it, maybe. Maybe VLS is a bit low. Now let's have a look at the pitch and power values. So, the cruise, level flight in clean, flight level 350. It should be about 3-degree pitch, which is about right. And we're weighing 71 tons. The power should be about 80%. That's pretty good. So the power N1 is correct. The pitch seems correct, 3 degrees, that's good. Like that. And indicated speed, though, should be around about maybe 245-ish to 50. So currently, maybe a bit faster than what we would expect normally, but yeah. But again, that's actually not bad. And the fuel flow, fuel flow, that seems a bit on the low side. It should be more like 1200, shouldn't it, on a 321? Have a look at performance chapter, in-flight performance, cruise, general. Oh. What's happened to the sounds? Cruise at 321 Neo, so fuel flow should be, yeah, about 1200. Yeah, so that's one of the things, one of the differences, and I know it is definitely Microsoft Flight Sim related. Did the sound volume just change for you guys as well? It suddenly got a lot louder. Weird. It did, okay. Yeah, don't ask me what happened. Wow, there's really bad weather. Where is that? So that's Stornoway. Okay, maybe they don't have the cost index data. Yeah. Alrighty. Then let's have a look for the fuel check. We're now at Kesek. So we have 3.7, and that is 25 minutes after departure. Let's have a look. Kesek, yeah, 22, so 3 minutes behind. And we're supposed to have 3 tons plus, well, we don't have any extra. So 3 tons is the minimum. We have 3.6, so we're still good on the fuel. That's fine. Sounds like the headphone simulation turned off. Yeah, that's true. Oh, no, I did not. You're right. Sorry. Yeah, I did not file that. Ay, 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 ay. Oh. Tis. Yeah, it's filed now. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, thanks for reminding me. A rookie mistake. Yeah, that's true. I stand to that. Elias, I always wanted to ask if there's any case where spoofing jamming is actually dangerous. Well, it can be dangerous. So, for example, let's say you're flying, you're in a descent. Let's say you're flying to an airport that has some terrain around the airport, okay? And then let's say you get spoofing. Now, GPS spoofing means the GPS receiver in the aircraft receives valid data, or it thinks it's valid data. However, the data is spoofed, meaning it's sending wrong coordinates. What can happen is that suddenly the aircraft could then use the wrong GPS coordinates to reposition the aircraft position. So it could shift by several miles, and then if you have terrain mode on, right, and then suddenly the aircraft shifts towards a mountain, it can trigger, pull-up warnings. And then there's clear rules for the pilots. So as an example, as long as you're not in daylight and VMC conditions, you always have to follow a pull-up GPWS warning. Now, no doubt, right, that can cause issues with other traffic around you, let's say, if you're suddenly climbing at 6,000 feet per minute, just as an example. So that definitely can have implications to safety. All right. It's true. It can also trigger pull-up warnings at cruise levels or at different levels without actually moving the aircraft position. Yeah, that can happen as well. So you like to go to data, position monitor, selected nav aids. Yeah, so right now you can see it's using some data here. So let's have a look if it's actually using, yeah, there we go. Look, you see how that has changed now? It's now using 3 IRS, but DME updating. And now the accuracy has, well, I'm not sure how, well, it should be improving again a little bit. Because now we're getting towards some ground stations again, which we didn't have after takeoff. So there we go. So let me put that back to, oh yeah, another thing that can be spoofed is the UTC time. So you get your UTC time as well through GPS, which is obviously important, especially over the Atlantic, let's say. So every aircraft gets the correct time in the aircraft. because it's time-based separation. So that's also very important. So let's go back to position monitor, selected nav aids, and then let's reselect GPS again. So now you can see that once GPS data is used again, we'll use, GPS primary is now active again. And now look what it says, 3 IRS GPS updating. Right, because that's the highest accuracy. So if it has valid GPS data, it'll use that first before using any other updating means like DME, DME. And now look at the actual navigation position improving again. No, so Aviamar, that's the difference between RNAV and RMP, right? So RMP may require you to have GPS updating on the stars or even on the approaches. But normally you'll find that information on the approach plates. So let me have a look at Edinburgh. I'm sure they have an RMP approach there. No, they don't. Okay. All right, let me check some other airport then. The GPS frequencies, that's Bruno can answer that one. He should know. Or yeah, or research on the internet. Yeah, I don't know exactly that. Let me find a nice chart here. Let's go to Frankfurt. Let's go Frankfurt. So Frankfurt will do an RMP approach. Yeah, so there we go. So then, I mean, yeah, I'm not sure if that's more like aircraft dependent again. Because, or it has changed completely now in the meantime. But I'm pretty sure, yeah, RNP approaches. So when it says RNP on the approach plate, that is actually where you require GPS updating. Now for the stars, you have to look into the text. I'll give you that here on the AirPlay. I'll show you here. So have a look here at the plate here. It says, so that's the stars here, 4 Charlie, 5 Delta, Spesa 4 Charlie, Spesa 4 Delta, right. So here it actually does allow you to fly the RNAV arrival as long as you have RNAV 1 accuracy. And you can actually use DME updating, GPS updating, or even DME IRU. Right, so that is possible. However, again, you have to check these charts and see if you don't have GPS updating. Right, so let's say you can fly the star without GPS updating as long as the actual accuracy is at least 1 mile. Yeah, the thing with the approaches, so the RP approaches using LPV minimas, right? That's a whole different topic because there's a lot of things that you have to consider. So normally when you do an RMP approach, you will use either the LNAV minimum if the temperature limits are exceeded. So you can see, for example, so Baro VNAV is not authorized below minus 15 degrees Celsius. So then you would actually just use the LNAV minimum here, 770. But if you're within the temperature limits, without LPV approval, you would use the LNAV VNAV minimum. And then the LPV minimas has to, for that to be able to be used, you need special equipment, certification of the crew, and then also the EGNOS, here in Europe, for example, the EGNOS GPS service, which has a higher accuracy system-wise. And for the avionics, the LPV behaves a lot like an ILS, where as you get closer to the airport, your synthetic glide slope and localizer indications will get more and more sensitive, right? So that's why, if you look at the chart here again, if you look at the depiction here, you see the dashed lines here. Kind of shows you it's simulating a glide slope beam. So as you get closer, those dashed lines get closer together, indicating that the deviation scales will get also more sensitive. And again, that's for the LPV system. Yeah, that's a discussion. So Elias, that's definitely a discussion that has to be done with regards to, does it make sense to get rid of all the VORs and just completely be relying on RNAV and RMP approaches? Yeah, so that's the thing. I mean, personally, I think it's a bad idea. As you can see how easily you can spoof or jam GPS signals. I would rather have some good backup means. Yep. Yeah, so the EGNOS and the WAS systems, yeah, like Bruno says, they receive correction signals from the ground. And so that way they do achieve a higher accuracy than the normal GPS signals. Yeah, so somebody says, Enzo says UK stopped paying for EGNOS services, so there's no RMP GPS approaches in the UK and Scotland. Oh, that's why. I was wondering, I thought that can't be. Oh, that makes sense now. Yeah. And maybe even Brexit has to do with it. Yeah, could be. Who knows? That is interesting. Yeah, you're right. Manchester has no. Oh, actually, Manchester does have an RMP approach. Hang on, 2-3 left. Yeah, but that's just a standard. That's just a standard GPS approach. Well, nav, me nav. Yeah, exactly. So So because they can't use EGNOS in the UK and Scotland, that's why you don't get these LPV minimas. Yeah, you only get LNAV VNAV minimas. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Panosi, hello. What about LV? You mean what? You mean LNAV VNAV or what do you mean? Yeah, LNAV VNAV is possible without EGNOS, just the normal GPS system. Yeah. Do like the clouds today, looking beautiful. Very nice. Cool. Let me check the weather in Glasgow and in Edinburgh. So let's go weather. Let's go METAR. Yeah. Exactly, yeah. So without the EGNOS system, it does not have the precision to use LPV minimas. Exactly. Can the FSLabs do LPV now? I don't think so, no. I don't think so, yeah. Bruno, you sent me a looks aspect. Okay, thank you. Hang on. That was in Discord, Bruno, I guess. Thank you. Ah, that's interesting. Okay, so when you have SBAS available, you can have a look here. It says that on the mode SAT, so it shows you mode SBAS 9 satellites. Cool. Thanks, Bruno. Yeah. Stephen, hello to you. How are you? So let's have a look at the weather. So we have Glasgow. Let me just check if we have any control there. Oh, hang on. Oh, that's Shanwick Military. No, that's not for us then. Disregard. They're not responsible. Okay. So we have 220 at 3. Good visibility. Few 3,100. Scattered 3,800. Broken 4,900. So it is no longer sky clear. 19 degrees and 1020. Edinburgh has 210 at 10. More than 10 kilometers, broken 3,921 degrees, 1020. So let me just enter that data here. So we have 19 degrees, 220 at 3, and we have 1020. And the ILS approach has a minimum of, let's check that. It has a minimum 230. Barrow. 230. Alrighty. Stephen, yes, of course. I've been waiting for a good Neo in Max Flight Sim to play with. Just wait. Stephen, that's one of those difficult questions. I am enjoying it, and I'm not noticing any bigger no-goes. Right? I mean, for those that are very knowledgeable about the aircraft systems, etc., you'll still notice some inaccuracies system-wise maybe, but I think for the normal flight simmer, it actually offers a lot of stuff that, you know, you're going to have to ask yourself, do you really care about these things with, you know, persistent tech lock, you know, that shows your fault history, and then when you have a fault, it keeps your landings, for example. Oh, and the good thing is, guys, so if you want to, you know, for the next flight you want to use a different airline, let's say you want to use TAP or something, or British Airways, you can actually take the tech-lock file and put it into that new livery, and then it'll take that with it. So, you know, you kind of, you keep that that wear and tear status over to other aircraft if you want. Yeah, so sometimes you can have some quite challenging items that are, or defects that require you to do some interesting read regarding MEL, and the FSLabs does come with documentation. So if you go to documents, so then you have the MEL in here, MEL items, and then you go through the different systems. All right, so let's go, for example, fuel. Right, so high temperature alerts, or a wing tank pump, right? Number 4 installed, 3 required, placarded yes. Right, and then there's actually even items in here that require you to actually do procedures. For example, it should be landing gear. So as an example, if the brakes hot alert can't be displayed, right? Oh, let's go with one wheel brake missing, or in-op, right? So there's certain items you have to do, and then also do some operational procedures with that. And it gives you that procedure as well. Right. For takeoff or landing, etc. Again, it's personal preference. There's people, of course, that say, I don't care about these things, I don't need them. It's fine, right? It's just for those, you know, that want a bit more fidelity level of detail. Then that's something the FSLabs has, and the Phoenix doesn't right now. So can you confirm that there's no flap slat failures? Okay, let's have a look. Let's have a look. Flight controls. Well, it has flaps locked. It has system faults, slats locked. So it does have some failures for the flaps and slats. Yeah. Cool. One more thing to do. Let's calculate the landing performance in here. So now, hey Fishcup guys, so Galileo system has authentication against spoofing, and the coverage is nearly complete, and it's far more precise than GPS. Interesting. Thanks for the background info. So. Now the wiper should only be used on wet windshields. Never ever use a wiper on a dry windshield. It'll scratch the glass or the protective cover. So we'll do config full, air conditioning on, anti-ice off, reversal, let's say none. We have 70.6, let's have a look. Normal landing. Climb gradient 5.9%, okay, that's good. We need, with low, 2,500 factored. So this would be the in-flight landing distance. You could use that in emergencies if you wanted to, with captain's discretion. But normally factored is 15% on top of that. So that's what we normally use, 2,521. And we have, well, We only have 2,356 available, so we need to use medium today. So that's interesting. Definitely need to do medium auto brake. So 2356, correct. So that is correct. So yeah, that answers those questions. That we have to use medium auto brake. So let's put medium brakes. We'll descend 150. I'm going to put that back to constraints. Let me put weather back on again. It doesn't look like there are any bigger convective clouds, but you never know. Might as well just put the radar on. Cool. So a quick briefing for the arrival. So arrival is the Airson 1 Golf arrival, some higher terrain to the north, 5-8 grid, sector 49. Limitation is foil, max 230, level 90. We can check that in here. Yeah, foil, you can see that here, 90, 230 knots is correct. Then we'll give ourselves radar vectors for the ILS. And so that's going to be the VOR ILS here. So we'll intercept out of 2,900 feet. Elevation is 21. At 8.9 from the ILS DME, we'll start the descent. We have a 3-degree profile down. Normal profile, minimum 230 feet. Missed approach, climb 3,000 feet. Initial straight ahead to 2,500 or 2.6 dB from the ILS, whichever is later. And then climbing left back to the VOR. Glasgow VOR. Or the locator, both are at the same position. Climb 3,000 and then we'll do another approach. Length available for landing, we said is 2,350 meters roundabout. Yeah, 2,356. Required is 1,700. 1,750 factored. So we have enough buffer, enough margin for a flare. I'm still struggling to get down. Let's use some speed brakes. And again, careful with the VLS. Monitor that. Make sure the VLS here doesn't go into the speed band, or the other way, the actual speed doesn't go into the VLS. So what you can do is, if you want to activate the failure, you go to failures, go to, let's say, the flight controls here. Let's say I want to get the flaps locked. You can arm it or activate it. So if you arm it, it gives you options for the altitude, for the speed, or the time. Right? That's how you would do that. Hey, Nathan. Nathan. How are you doing? I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. With the Airbus, how do you program ETOPS coordinates into the MCU, please? Several ways, I guess. So you can go into pilot waypoints. So page 2, right? Pilot waypoints, and there's different things you can do. So you can either enter latitude, longitude coordinates. You can use place bearing distance or place bearing. Right, so you'd find a name, right? Right, and then now for the exact way, now I would have to look into my manuals, because there is, of course, then a way to enter these. And it has to be in a specific format. Let me have a look if I can find it quickly. trip. Yeah, I'm not finding any coordinates. Let's see. So 45, 30 north, and then let's do 006. I should probably point, wasn't it? 45, 3. Let's do 006, 02.1 east. Oh, that's a good guess. Okay, so this would be one way of entering coordinates here. All right, so then, and then you can store it. Oh, okay, Svenja, have a good night. Oh, you have to work tomorrow that early. Oh no. Feel for you. Okay. Eine schöne Woche. Mach's gut. Right, thrust idle. Descend. Out blue. Speed brakes closed. And then, oh, beautiful. Beautiful countryside here. Nice. Yeah, so Nathan, I know the problem is with these coordinates, they have to be in a specific, they have to be entered in that specific way. I think there's 2 or 3 different options you can do that, but you know, the easiest way to do it is just to look at the format it's in, okay? And then think about, you know, it wants the letter north, south, east, or west at the end. All right, so just try that. Hope it works. So let me just put Echo Golf Papa Foxtrot in here, runway 23. Now, since we are getting radar vectors, or giving us radar vectors, I do want to have a distance to the threshold here. I'll do that on this side as well. 3. There we go. Good, 13,000. I think it's about time we get school starts 7:15. Or it's just oh yes, you're teacher. Okay, so yeah, I can imagine you can't wait for the holidays. Oh yeah, alles Gute. So Skyrider says there's a different way to put it in as well. Do you think that works, Skyrider? Are you sure? Isn't that like Boeing format or something? Yeah, let me try. Okay, so you're saying north 47 to 0.9, and then west 00155.7. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's interesting. So Skyrider, okay, thanks for that input. You see, even if you put it in like Skyrider just wrote there, it will translate that accordingly. Right, that's interesting. Cool. So I'm just going to monitor now the performance here of the autopilot guidance system. So we have foil. Now, I'm a bit worried about that deceleration point. I highly doubt we're going to get to 230 knots by that time. We'll see. We'll just leave it running. We're on path vertically, and we have to be 9-0 at foil, speed to 30.
Moscow traffic is light for
Oh.
27 on the ILS operator. Please head miles, Moscow traffic.
Ooh, it's very quiet though, isn't it? Let's go below for the TCAS. Oh yeah, there's one on final there. Ooh, there's one coming in as well here. Glasgow traffic, windmills 013, approaching foil. We're planning to fly the ILS 23 in Glasgow. Alt star. Oh, 90. Hang on, 90. There we go. Descend. Thrust idle set, alt blue 90. Well, actually, that is the symbol for the approach phase, isn't it? That's a pseudo waypoint for the approach phase to activate. No, it's not. Hang on. I'm confused. So 230, speed out star. No, it didn't do it. So it should have done 230 knots, which it hasn't. Right, let's descend down to 3000. Open descent out blue 30, and that's going to be below MSA. Now we have to give ourselves a bit more room. Here comes flaps 1. Speed is check, flaps 1. Captain Laranja, hello to you. How are you? Here's some speed brakes here. And let's go further to the left. Where's the other traffic that we just saw? It's 30 miles out. That's fine. Oh, that's really cool. Nice. Captain Laranja, look at that. Also, some good infos regarding thank you very much for that. 4 months. Perfect. Thank you. Saved. But, hang on. What's happening? Why is that not? Hang on. There we go. Cool. Temperature is at 13 degrees. No need for engine anti-ice. Let me just enter the extended center line. Final 2-3. Inbound track is 228, so 048 outbound. Insert. Heading again. There we go. And now we have to get the QNH 1020. And it's time for a checklist. Flaps 2, speed checked. Flaps 2. BE441. I'll get to your questions in a second. Hang on. Let me just read the Where's the approach checklist? That is weird. Hold on. Let me get my checklist. Checklist. A320. No. Approach checklist. Bar roll ref. QNH 1020. Let's get lock armed. Speed, vertical speed. Lock star. Seatbelts on. Minimum bar row 230 feet. Auto brake medium. Engine mode selector normal. That's the approach checklist completed. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, I love that. Beautiful. Wow, that's nice. I mean, yeah, I think it just has to do with the fact that closer to the ground, you glide slope armed, autopilot 1+2, Cat 3 dual. You just want to slow down the descent rate. Now, if I'm below the glide slope, I wouldn't go 1,000 feet per minute or more. So, you know, trying to optimize it a little bit, give myself some room for deceleration. But otherwise, Glasgow traffic, windmill 013 is 14 mile final runway 23 in Glasgow. I've flown the approach in real life. And I remember that, this mountain here, just before glide slope intercept. Absolutely beautiful. Wow.
2,500.
This checked. Amazing. So we'll go down to 2,900 feet now for the intercept. And look how that terrain drops off there. That looks really nice. Wow. Cool. Why is the FO... Hang on. Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, Eagle Eye Bruno. Yeah, something else to post to them. Yeah, that should not be the case. There's the runway. Out, star, out. So intercept at 9 miles something. HT, hello. Yeah, 8.9 miles. The glide slope looks good. Golf course, of course. Why wouldn't there be a golf course? Yeah, you're right. Still weird that we have some ice on the probe. Yeah, I would have expected that to be melting at plus 80 degrees. Yeah, it should have melted. Something else to note down. So missed approach 3,000 set. Let's put the gear down. Let's do it this way. Make sure it comes down.
2,000.
Hang on. Come on. There we go. Blimey. Flaps 3, speed checked. Flaps 3, speed managed. Yeah, long story, Yoda, long story. Flaps 4. HT320, I like it. It's, of course, some things are still, like for example, we did have some weird modes there. Now it's still a heading log, and it never intercepted localizer for some reason. I don't know why. But otherwise, yeah, some small things. But otherwise, I'm happy with it. Landing checklist. EKVG landing, no blue. Landing checklist complete. Let's do some manual thrust. Yeah, I have a feeling that my bindings aren't... Come on. There we go, now it's manual flight. Oh, look at that. Now it's got an heading localizer. That is weird. Yeah, there we go, lock star again. Yeah, that's something's bugged here. interesting. Okay. So, Glasgow traffic, windmill 013 is on a 4 miles final, runway 23 in Glasgow. Yeah, so with flaps full, the pitch is okay. Yeah, it's just a bit weird with flap 3. Yeah, Voyager, yeah. Alright, looks lovely. Looks very nice. I like the aircraft. I like how the aircraft feels quite alive. So, oh, that's the real turb again. Getting slightly low, correcting.
400.
Just a little bit low, correcting. Go. There we go.
300. 100 above. 300. Minimum.
Continue.
$100. 50. 40.
Oh.
20.
Oh.
Retard. Pitch. Retard.
Lol. What's the stutterfest? Oh no. What happened with the stutters there? Oh. No. That messed up my landing. It is an excuse. That was like a slideshow there. There's a fix for the stutters? Let me know, please. Hey, Toto. No, I did not use the... No, I'm not using experimental. The windshield plackets were going crazy on the rollout? Okay, I didn't see that. I just saw the stutters. That's Microsoft Flight Sim 2024. Happens to a lot of people. Yeah, that's weird. The 4090 doesn't do it anymore. You need the 5090. Yeah, probably. Taylor West, thanks for saying hello. Thanks for watching. Take care. Right, let's park next to the... Also, the FPS is really bad here at the airport right now. Really weird. Yeah, it could be the scenery. It's Pyro-G. Right, let's do 29. Actually, hang on. No, hold on. Let's do... Oh, okay. Is that really okay? That's so that GSX stuff loading in. Okay. Ah, that's a good tip. Thanks for that, Dennis. I'll try that. I think that could be a good thing to do. Yeah. So if you're having the same issue, perfect, Richie. Thank you so much as well. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yeah. So, do we have the services available? Yes, we do. All right, there we go. Yeah, so if you go into the aircraft config of the aircraft itself in the folder, there's some stuff regarding services. So you wanna disable the loading or preloading of things like fuel truck, baggage loader, etc. Oops. But is that always a case? Also a case if you don't enter the gate? Oh, come on, there we go. Okay, well, we'll see. We'll try that. I'll do that for the next flight, guys. Okay, and then we can try that for the next landing. So we have APU available. Actually, let's do this. But I'm happy that we actually made the flight. And we didn't run into that driver crash. Off, of course.
Thank you very much for your hard work today. Your doors are clear to open.
Oh, look at that! I've not seen that for ages. That's cool. But, I mean, like why? Because the taxiing was so bad. Oh, that's slow-mo now. Huh? Why is that like slow-mo? Gangnam style. Slow mode Gangnam style. Huh? Yeah, experimental channel, Marvin. Yeah. So let's go and get services going. There we go. Thank you. Also, I want to make sure I don't have baggage carts. I want to have the containers. So let's do the checklist here. Let's do parking checklist, engines off. We should have the TCAS off, obviously. Fuel pumps off. Then we've got radar PWS off, fuel pumps off, parking brake is on. And that's the chocks are in position, so we can actually get rid of the parking brake. Fantastic, cool.
Ladies and gentlemen, your portable electronic devices must not be used until you are inside the airport.
How did you get the throttles to work? Well, there's a setting.
Please ensure that you supervise
You can,
for your own safety.
or you can calibrate your thrust levers here in the options menu. So page 3, under controls, thrust levers. You can decide if you want to have a reverse zone on your levers. But that means that you would probably need some physical inlays for your thrust levers, like I have on the Bravo throttle quadrant, so that you feel that you're in the idle detent. And then when you get into the reverse and, you know, idle, reverse, detent, etc., so those would have to be, you would have to feel those on your thrust levers, right? And then you can calibrate these detent zones, right? So it tells you the current position of the thrust lever. So if I go put this now into idle there, 0.66. So ideally, I want to put this in a little bit bigger range here. All right, and then go to lever 2 and then copy from 1. There we go. That's better. That's how you get that. Thank you much, HT. Much appreciated. Thanks for the help, guys. Cool, guys. I'll have a 10-minute break, and then we'll do the next flight. Again in the FSLabs. And we're going to fly from here, Glasgow, to Brussels. And I want to just check the tech logbook. So there's no more problems right now that we have to enter. And let's look at the flight history. Yeah, it has logged that. Ouch! Oh, that's terrible. Horrible. Well, we got an excuse. Yeah, I thought so, Peter. Back then, when Top Cat was still a good add-on. It didn't have the Neos back then, did it? Yeah, all right, guys. Thanks for the support. Again, if you want to see another flight, give me 15 minutes. I'll be back. Looking forward to it. Thank you so much.